there's a lot of unknown associated with Miss Lynn Ray West.
You described her a little bit, but who is she?
She's a prostitute. She's a mamasan. A mamasan is a person who is in charge of other prostitutes.
She manages and runs prostitutes, predominantly running them with the focus of sailors and U.S. service members stationed in Bahrain.
She's an NCIS source as well.
The story of Lynn Ray West is probably one of the craziest parts of this whole series of cases involving sailors in Bahrain. What we know about Lynn Ray West is she's originally from Thailand. She came to Bahrain working as a prostitute. At some point, she became a pimp of other women, or what's known down there as a mamasan.
Now, were you close with Miss Ray West, or?
No, just when I went out. I would say I always saw her at parties.
Ray West, according to court records, knew a lot of sailors, and she had a lot of connections on base. She was up in the clubs where U.S. sailors like to go in their off time. She'd hold court at these boozy brunches that some shipmates reported attending.
So what kind of parties did you attend with Ms. Ray West?
In Bahrain, there's always brunches, clubs, all that stuff. People from the base, we'd all go there. We get in super cheap. She's just a very popular person in the area.
And you knew Miss Ray West had connections on base?
Yes, sir.
The extent of Ray West's assistance to NCIS over the years remains largely unclear. NCIS refuses to tell us what cases she helped them on and how much she was paid over the years.
I met Kay West in 2014 when I first reported to NCIS Bahrain. And it was through the course of an unrelated investigation. She knew a young lady that had been assaulted by another sailor, and she brought her to our office, and that began our relationship.
Tell us a bit about her relationship with NCIS.
Lynn Ray West's relationship with NCIS was that of a confidential informant, we learned.
Was she able to continue her prostitution and pimping while she was, in the employ or in the informant mix for NCIS?
She was able to continue running her business while all this was going on, at least as far as we could tell.
That would suggest she had the best of both worlds in a way. She was able to continue her, day-to-day business, but if things ever got too hot, she could, retreat back to NCIS for their help if needed.
Absolutely, and the evidence that we saw demonstrated that she was using that relationship and taking full advantage of the fact that she had NCIS as a silent partner almost. We had certain defense theories that we were attempting to explore through the discovery process involving her willingness and her ability to leverage and fabricate stories to extort sailors. We don't know, and we never were able to conclusively determine if that's what was going on, or if that was sometimes what was going on and sometimes not. This is a woman who was, in our perspective, very powerful, in that she could manipulate U.S. sailors and she could manipulate NCIS to leverage U.S. sailors in whatever way she really wanted to.
And you're here because they speaks very English, and you're going to have to interpret today for us?
You raised questions about Lynn Ray West's credibility, believability.
Yeah.
Can you kind of take me through, your argument for that?
So, Lynn Ray West is working for NCIS since 2014, when in 2017, Little John pops up on the horizon. So, she's working with NCIS. According to NCIS, she's a mamasan. And according to what that means is she's plying her trade as a mamasan, providing prostitutes to people for providing prostitutes, in other words, sex for money. All the while working with NCIS, and NCIS knows this and allows that to happen unless it involves a sailor.
Navy Times reached out to a woman believed to be Miss Ray West, but she would not confirm her identity and declined to be interviewed.
This is a very tangled web of a confidential informant getting a number of cases over a number of years tangled together all at the same time with NCIS. From what we know, from the evidence, from at least 2014 to 2018, and certainly having an informant that lasts that long is not a unique concept. However, having one that lasts that long while they're being allowed to run a criminal enterprise targeting U.S. sailors is shocking, especially when the Navy is trying to clean up this conduct and trying to rid these types of things from the ranks. I've never seen anything like this in my career before.
Whatever her actual role with NCIS was, Ray West helped trigger an investigation with a number of graphic accusations when she came back to NCIS with several of her prostitutes and an explosive allegation that they had been brutally raped by a U.S. sailor.
Did he do anything to try to stop you from screaming?
Yeah, like push harder to the bed and like tell her to like not scream.
Up next, the Navy faces rape allegations against one of its chiefs.
Why did they come in today?
Because they're not ready. She tell him like, if you want to take her, you gotta pay her. Then he put her face in the pillow because she screamed.